Hey truckers, it's super cold out in my garage and I'm sitting on the concrete floor, so I'm going to try to make this short. I've been seeing a lot of videos where guys are getting in trouble. They're trying to make these turns and they're just about to rip a 30-foot hole into their trailer because, there's a pole there, a car there, something crazy. I'm going to tell you how to get out of that situation without tearing stuff up. Watch the end of the video. Take a look at what I got for you. Alright, in this situation, this KW driver is making a bad turn. And if he continues on this path, he's going to, well, it's going to be his last day on the job. So, here's how we fix that. Alright, before I get into talking about how we fix that, I want to draw your attention, your memory, back to CDL school. Many of you went to a CDL school that had you parallel park that trailer. And you may not have had actual solid objects here and here. You may have just had cones right here and more cones right here. But the idea was that you would pull this truck up here somewhere, and then you would back that trailer in those cones, and you would end up in a 90-degree jackknife like this right here. And then you toot your little air horn to let the instructor know that you were done with the maneuver. Well, the idea behind that, the reason why they had you practice that, was because when you get out to the fleet, you may have a job that has you parking this trailer in between another trailer in front and another trailer in behind you, right? So you're going to parallel park the trailer just as you would a car, and then you would disconnect from that trailer and drive away. Now that trailer is parked. There's a trailer here. There's a trailer here. Sorry. And a lot of times it's guys that are hauling like trash containers, big dumpsters or whatever. And they're parking that trailer right there in between two other trailers. Okay. In this example, this would be a trailer, this would be a trailer, and you're going to park your wagon right in between them. And then you pull away. All right. So, in CDL school, you may recall, when you finish your skill, you're pretty much at almost a 90-degree jackknife, if not 90 degrees. Okay? But here's the insight. The insight is that the whole idea is that you then disconnect and you drive away. Okay? If you can disconnect and drive away from that trailer, then you can certainly hook up to that trailer from the side. That's the big deal. And using that technique is how we're going to get out of that sticky situation before we rip a 30-foot gouge into the side of our trailers. All right, so here's how we do it. Okay, so let's go back to Billy Big Rigger here, who's about to make a really bad move and rip a hole right down the side of his trailer. Okay, if he will stop before he, continues around this corner and starts tearing stuff up, you stop, pull brakes, disconnect, drop that trailer. I don't care Listen, I don't care if there's a whole quarter of a mile line of cars right there behind you and they won't back up, they won't get out of your way, whatever. I don't care. Drop your trailer right where you're at. Maybe you can't back out. You certainly can't continue forward because you're going to tear up your equipment. And maybe, hell, I don't know, maybe there's something right there that says you can't just, go out this way. All right? Drop your trailer, okay? Bobtail around the block. Come around to the other side of your trailer. Hook up to that punk, right? It's hard for me to do this one-handed, but hook up to it from a 90-degree jackknife or whatever you got to do, and pull that sucker away from this obstacle here, and continue down the road. Go around the block. Come at it from another way. The idea is you can drop that trailer, hook up to it from the other side, and pull it away from this obstacle right here. Okay? Pull it away from that fire hydrant. Pull it away from that little, car that's parked right there. Pull it away from that telephone pole. Whatever. Hook up to it from the other side. Now, here's a couple things that you might need to do before you hook up to it. All right. Everybody knows that when you're backing up to a trailer to hook up to it, your trailer is as wide as your bobtail is. Okay? So you just line up the sides and you back up, hook up to it, and there you go. You're done. Okay? Your kingpin is going to be right in the middle there, and it's going to meet your grease plate right here. No big deal. We do it all the time. Okay? If you're going to hook up from the side, because there's a freaking big old obstacle right here that's going to rip a hole in the side of your trailer. So you got to drop your trailer, hook up from this side, and pull that trailer away from that obstacle. That's fine. But what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to know where your kingpin is right here, at the bottom of your trailer. So back up to it, roughly get 2 or 3 feet, 4 feet from it. Get out. Take a look at where your kingpin is. Look under there where your kingpin is. Take a black marker and just make a little mark on here. Also, when you've got your grease plate lined up with that right there, make a little mark right here too. Make a mark right there at the side of your bobtail. That way you know you're lined up with that kingpin. Your kingpin is going to be, roughly right here. Okay? Roughly right here. Lined up with your grease plate, your fifth wheel. That's what you want. That's all you've got to do. You just got to lock that kingpin. That's it. So get out, see where your kingpin is, look underneath that punk, see where your kingpin is and mark it. And if you got a back window on here, it's super easy. But if you got a sleeper truck, then you're going to have to, line your kingpin up with your grease plate, get out here, mark where the side of your bobtail is on your trailer. Just a magic marker. Who cares? Or rub some, rub your finger into the dirt. Whatever you got to do to see that you're lined up. Your kingpin is lined up where it needs to be on your bobtail. And that's it. It's as simple as that. Once you're hooked up to that thing, that's probably not hooked up because it's a freaking toy, but once you're hooked up to it, man, pull that punk away. So, here's your obstacle right there. There's your obstacle right there. That thing spells trouble. You were pulling off this way until that showed up in the picture. Now you dropped your trailer, you bobtail around the block, you hook up to it, make your marks there, and now you pull away from that obstacle without tearing stuff up and getting fired. All right? That's really it, man. And it'll save your job. It'll save you from having a bad day. Okay, one more thing you're going to have to do before you back into this trailer from the side. You may be top heavy. So before you back in and bump that trailer, dump your airbags. There's going to be a switch on your dash. You know how to dump your airbags. You probably do it all the time. But dump them all the way down. Get that suspension down. That way you can slide underneath this trailer without really touching it, right? And then once you get pretty close to before you hook up, then you inflate your airbags again. Also, make sure you've got plenty of grease on your fifth wheel. It's called a grease plate for a reason. I see a lot of you guys running around these freaking roads with rusty grease plates. Man, they sell that stuff at every truck stop. It's cheap. Get it. Make sure this fifth wheel plate is good and greased, because if you back into this trailer from the side and you're at all top heavy, you could knock this trailer down, and then, hell, you just defeated the whole purpose of dropping it and bobtailing around the block to hook it up to it from this side. So, before you get underneath this trailer, dump your suspension and make sure your grease plate is good and sloppy. All right? And that's it. Have a blast. Stop tearing stuff up.